And we start this very day by making it abundantly clear that the greatest enemy of a black man is the way that we reason. If not that the way we reason is very, very abhorrent, there is no need or reason why we should be suffering and complaining every blessed day without the courage to do something about it.
I want every one of you to remember these three words. Nigerians, we are no more. Southeasterners and Southerners, we cannot become. And Biafrans, we must be.
Nigeria is the terrorist, not we, not Biafrans. So Finland, you need to get that clear first. You need to know who is committing the act of terrorism. As of today, the Nigerian state, headed by Tinubu and Christopher Musa, continues to unleash act of terrorism against innocent Biafrans. They killed.
The program you're about to watch is coming from the United States of Biafra Media, the ITPS. I want you to pay attention to every information that you're going to hear in this video. It is very educating and it will inform you of the situation in the Zoological Republic of Nigeria and what is going on in the United States of Biafra. Pay attention from the beginning to the end. Every information in this platform is very important. We are here to promote the United States of Biafra under the command of our Prime Minister, Mazi Ekpa Njoku, and on the Supreme Command of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, today under the leadership of the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Arabweze. Pay attention from the beginning to the end, and you'll be glad you did. Let's watch and hear what the media is presenting.
The US federal government concluded its case in the terrorism and tourism trial of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu on June 19, following testimony from its fifth and final witness, a Department of State Services operative who linked Kanu's broadcast to violence and property destruction in the Southeast. With 5 witnesses having testified, the prosecution announced it had presented sufficient evidence, prompting Kanu's lead defense lawyer, Chief Kanu Agabi, to declare the intention to file a no-case submission on the grounds that the evidence has failed to establish a prima facie case demanding a formal defense. In response, Kanu boldly declared in open court, "I have no case to answer," citing earlier court ruling that overturned IPOB's prescription and labeled his rendition from Kenya unconstitutional actions, he says, were ignored. Justice James Omotosho has ruled that both parties must file written legal submissions addressing the no-case claims, with proceedings adjourned to July 18 for resolution. As the spotlight turns to whether the court finds the prosecution's evidence sufficient to proceed, public attention remains fixed on the landmark case and its implications for justice and free speech in Nigeria. We have with us in the studio Mr. Dele Fanimo, a seasoned reporter and VOPTV in-house political analyst, and beside him is still Mr. Lawale Kondayo, who is an educationist, political and public affairs commentator and a farmer. And we have still with us Vain Makodi, Professor Emmanuel Odue Usue, who is the professor with the Benue State University. And from Benin Studios, we have Comrade Bobby Egosa Obayuwana, a public and political analyst, also join us for the second conversation. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here with us.
Always my pleasure.
Now, let me start off with you, Comrade, Comrade Bobby Egosa Obayuwana. Now, this particular case about Nnamdi Kanu, who happens to be the indigenous, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, is more like taking another turn because yesterday in court, after the 5th witness from VSS presented all that he has against him, he was able to say, "I don't have any case to answer." And he cited his rendition from Kenya as one, and also the fact that a court won't say that IPOB is not a prescribed organization, and also had a fine placed on federal government, which the government actually did not really, according to him, did not obey. He said that those things are unconstitutional action. I say he doesn't have any case to present at this point in time. Although the case is still in court, yes, it's still in court. it has been adjourned for proper hearing and cross-examination and all that. Now, as a Nigerian, given the fact that this case has been there for so long, it's been there for so many years, what do you think will be the outcome of this? What do you actually think will be the outcome of this? Do you think that we'll have to see justice at the end of the whole proceeding? Do you think public attention being fixed on this particular case now, even with the international recognition, is going to speak well to Nigeria having justice and a free speech environment?
Well, for me, what we are seeing in this case between Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the federal government are mere political jabberwocky and political theatrics. This case did not start today, the last time I checked. We have had this case since the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. And this case has further dragged to this current administration. What we have been hearing have not really been politically interesting to Nigerians over time. In fact, yesterday when the fifth witness, who was tagged letter EEE, tendered his evidence in court, the stimulus response that sparked up reactions from some Nigerians sitting close to me is that we are beginning to see witnesses who now bear alphabets as names, all in the guise of being under security cover. So for me, they should stop disturbing Nigerians with all these political theatrics and political noise making. If they want to follow the rule of law, they should follow it to the latter. And this also borders on the integrity of the Nigerian justice system. They should not use any form of discretionary or unpopular controversial technicality to give selective justice to either of the party. Let the findings reflect transparency to the admiration of sanity in our justice system from the Nigerian perspective. Because what is going on now is that today they will converge in court. Tomorrow they will adjourn to on the 18th of July, which they have done. And from on the 18th of July now, Nigerians can confidently predict that there is still going to be another adjournment. All these charades, all these facades, political facades, are becoming boring and uninteresting to the interest of Nigerians. If Nnamdi Kanu is found wanting of treason or any form of threat to national security and integration, it should be done in a transparent manner.
All right,
because I've been following this case.
Okay.
We have not seen a situation where it has been alleged that Nnamdi Kanu carried guns,
all right,
or
okay,
is in possession of weapons of mass destruction, or is carrying out activities
all right,
that are physically and realistically glaring to the eyes of Nigerians across the world.
all right.
That is
Well, thank
becoming
you
a
very much,
national
Comrade
threat.
Bobby.
But for
Thank
me,
you very much, Comrade Bobby. Okay, let's just land on your thoughts, please, so I can move to another guest.
it's more important than the interest of any individual
All right,
or
thank you.
entity.
Thank you very much. That's a good place to land. All right, so let me bring you to the studio now, Mr. Fanimo. Now, the frequent outbursts of Kanu in courts, we saw a reaction from the case where he, spoke out. Basically speaking out above the head of his lawyers, saying that, look, I have no case to answer. Do you think this will affect his case going forward?
Much as it may not really affect the facts and evidence before the court, but sometimes judges also weigh in on the emotion of accused persons. Especially, this is a case that carries death penalty if found guilty. And this is a man that has been traumatized for more than 5 years behind the bars. He has not been able to see his wife. He has not been able to see his children. He has not been able to have contact with the outside world other than the lawyers. And most of the people he sees every day when he wakes up and when he goes back to sleep in the night are the regular people that are security operatives. And a high-profile person like this will not be allowed to interact freely with those people
So
that mill around him.
Could it
So
be that government is playing on his emotions to ensure that, you know, when his emotions get out
at
of
the
hand,
point,
that can
at the
be
point,
used
he almost
as-
broke.
That can be used against him.
The continued incarceration almost broke him at a point. That you recall that in the open court, when he was still being tried by the other woman,
Justice Nyako.
Justice Yako, that he almost wanted to fight with his lawyer, pushing his lawyer. What probably will be going on in his brain is, look, you guys are toying with my lives. I mean, my life. And you are sitting here, coming here to adjourn endlessly. And I am ebbing away.
Could that be a ploy? Could that be a ploy on the part of his accusers to ensure that, look, he's pushed to the brink and then breaks and then does something that can be used to further detain him or maybe incarcerate him for
since I'm not a security operative, I may not be able to say that, but I am putting myself in his position.
I'm also putting myself. But I do understand that you did a bit of psychology. My question borders on psychology, actually.
If you are going to the realm of psychology, I can tell you that
yes,
as he is now, a lot of things are running through his brain. And when you want to break down a suspect, I've been involved in assisting police to interrogate suspects in the past. When you want to break a suspect, don't engage that suspect for a while. The brain will run riot at some point, such that if you are not careful, that person may just move from neurosis to psychosis. That's why some people, when they are incarcerated alone in solitary confinement for a while, the tendency is for them to be mentally affected.
Go depressed.
Because depression will set in. And then you begin to hallucinate or you begin to experience schizophrenia.
All right.
So what we are seeing in the court at that point, is an Nnamdi Kanu beyond the satirics, beyond everything that is going on inside the court. He was also looking beyond the court to say, what will be my fate? Am I going to continue to stay here? And there is no conscious effort to close this case as quickly as possible.
As quickly as possible. Okay, I like the fact that you mentioned his reaction to his lawyers. You know that within the past 2 months, he changed lawyers.
Yes.
I think about 3 senior advocates joined him, the team, you know. And one of them is Kanu Agabi, you know. And now former Attorney General of the Federation. Now, Kanu Agabi says that when the federal government closed its case. Now, Kanu Agabi said yesterday that the defendant is good.
No case submission.
Do you think that will make a difference? The personality of the former Attorney General of the Federation? Because I think we talked a bit about it that time, and I was like, will it make any difference? And some people were of the opinion that, look, it will make a difference. Not because Jimako hadn't done a good job, but because these people might have another angle, you know, that they used to pursue the case. At that point, we talk about the coming in with a political angle to it, even being lawyers. Is that what we see, you know, happening at this moment?
You see, in all ramifications, this is a high-profile case.
Okay.
Because if it were to be just ordinary people like you and I, there won't be any need for government to employ a son of the stature of a woman law. And if Kanu also didn't realize that he is in a precarious situation, he wouldn't have changed his lawyer and bring in Kanu Agabi for whatever reasons that is not known to me. But the point is, he needed to get a lawyer that would match in and outside the court a stature of an Awomolo at that moment.
Okay.
Because he could end up at some point that there could be a kind of political solution to this crisis.
Okay.
Because, don't forget, Kanu Agabi had been in office before.
Okay.
He knows what goes on in the Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
The right buttons to press and all of that.
Well,
I'm happy that we are at this point again, because we were very upbeat at that time when Bianca Ono was appointed.
Even before then?
Even before. And Bianca made a statement, you've been very upbeat. And if you, relying on what happened or what has happened in the recent past, are you still upbeat about it being released soon?
Obviously, I'm still upbeat. And I still feel that this guy will come out. I have that conviction. I don't know where it's coming from, but I have a conviction that this guy will be released before the end of the year.
All right, then. Okay, Lawal Kudayo. Comrade Bobby, the virtual guest, said something about the witnesses bearing acronyms, the witnesses being hidden. That has been the pattern of the case from the onset. Do you think that will put some sort of cloud around the credibility of witnesses being presented by the government? The fact that these people are only known to the accused. The accused is the only person made to see them. Nigerians cannot see and attest to their credibility or the possibility that they may or may not know what they are saying.
It's baffling. From the little I know, somebody like that, you are presenting a witness. At least the witness had information. Which one of the things is that there must be the accused must be able to say something about that. But you cover the face, you can't even identify the person.
Well, I think they're put in the box where he can see from wherever he sits.
No, I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about Nnamdi Kanu.
Yes, Nnamdi Kanu.
Mm-hmm. Can he see the person that is covered?
In most cases, he's the only one that can see.
Okay, he's the only.
Yes, but Nigerians, the rest of the court, the rest of people in the court cannot. Does that put some sense of distrust in the entire case?
It's going towards that now, because for the government.
What are your thoughts? I'm asking your thoughts.
My thought is that this thing is kind of, is derailing Nigerians. So Nigerians are being skeptical about whether there will be justice or maybe there will be manipulation. That is what is going on. That's why he says something about Nigerians are tired of all these things. Because I believe that the intelligence gathering, they don't show their face. Now, you don't tell someone intelligence agent to come and begin to testify. They only give information to the person that will now use it and come to court and testify.
So you don't have issues with the fact that the people who are witnesses are being shielded from the...
That's what I'm saying. That they don't. If the person is an intelligence agent, he's supposed to gather the information and give it to the person that will come and appear. So that the person will now come openly appear, then it can be cross-examined, everybody will see him, and then... So that's why you see, the police will not disclose their intelligence source to protect the source. They won't disclose it. But the person will give them the information. They will now build that information around themselves as if they are the one who actually got it.
All right, so do you share a different view?
No, it's a different thing in this case.
Okay.
You see,
tell us about it.
You see, Nnamdi Kanu has been accused of heading IPOB. And IPOB has many followers. And so, the operatives of the state, these are the ones that had personal contact with the accused person. And they have been involved in the investigation of that case over a period of time. They must provide evidence and be cross-examined by the lawyer of the accused, so that if there are areas where they had lied, it will be detected along the line. So they cannot be represented in court. It has to be they themselves coming before the lawyers of the accused for cross-examination. For instance, if they said, Kanu, we saw you eating rice on so date, Kanu should be able to, through his lawyer, that this particular date, you said you saw me eating rice. I was in detention and only Eba was brought to me. But if it's to be a proxy coming to give evidence, that evidence will fall flat. No. So that's one. Two, okay. For security reasons, for a high-profile case like this, you will be endangering the lives of these operatives when you allow them to talk
in their lives
the open
in the
court.
sense that IPOB or members of IPOB might attack them. Is that what you're saying?
It's possible. It's
So,
possible. Have you not witnessed? Have you not witnessed armed robbery gang?
Does that add credence to the fact that IPOB might be a terrorist organization?
No, that is for the court to settle.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, have you not witnessed it? I think it was in Benin or somewhere, I can't remember the place now, or Delta, that a robbery suspect was brought to court. And members of the gang came to rescue him and killed security operatives. So it can happen. Some people may just have sympathy for Kanu and they may want to attack. So they need to also preserve the lives of these people.
But in this particular case, they have like 5 witnesses, Max. Not just an individual. And each time they get to court,
these are 5 witnesses person, you know, of security agents of the state that were involved in the investigation of this case. So they need to protect them. You have just answered the question, it's very straightforward. If Kanu had not come into contact with any of these 5, he would have objected, because the prosecuting lawyer would bring them up for Kanu to identify.
But he said something.
And if Kanu has not had any interaction during investigation with these people, the lawyers of Kanu Agabi and his team would have said, this man has never had any contact with Kanu.
But
so where is he coming from?
Kanu said something that the DCCC man wasn't even a DSS officer.
That what?
He said that the man that was brought before him to, who actually come to court to, bear witness,
to give evidence,
testify, and to bring evidence, actually is not a DSS officer.
Who said so?
Kanu himself.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
That's where
I don't have a list of DSS officers.
I have something to say.
Okay, let's have
what I want to say is this. See, like what we're talking about, just 30 seconds to derail a little. Look at that Benue case. Okay. And we're talking about the governor being the chief security officer of the state. And people said he cannot, get arms, he cannot empower the people with arms. But security is not about arms only. It's about intelligence gathering. Somebody will gather intelligence, give it to somebody else who will make use of it physically.